let's go out there and meet it. Starship is made up of two parts. First, on the bottom, the Super Heavy booster, powered by 33 Raptor engines. Both Super Heavy and Ship are running on liquid methane and liquid oxygen. That second stage, the Starship upper stage, is powered by 6 of those Raptor engines. 3 of them are optimized to sea level performance, 3 for vacuum, so operating while they're in space. And here's a quick look under the hood at all of those Raptors. On the left, that's a view from underneath the launch mount. That's 33 Raptor engines on the first stage, on the booster. And on the right, that's a view inside of the ship. So you're looking down at the top of the booster at 6 Raptor engines inside the ship. Those are what's going to power it to orbit. Now, that second stage is also what will one day carry cargo, payloads, people, everything that's going to space. It's also going to be responsible for in-space propellant transfer. That's where we're going to take 2 starships, meet them up in orbit. One will be able to transfer propellant to the other. That's a really critical capability for Starship to do all of these missions beyond low Earth orbit. It also unlocks our ability to send huge amounts of cargo, tremendous amounts of people to destinations far beyond Earth.
Yeah, the Super Heavy booster is designed to launch, separate, flip, and return to the launch site where it can be caught by the chopsticks on the launch tower. Though, as we mentioned earlier, we
So you
are
started
not
this like
attempting a
this
booster
January
catch
what
today on
1st?
Flight 9.
Beginning of
Starship
the year,
re-enters
as
the
soon
Earth's
we loaded
atmosphere
my
at the conclusion of its
nowhere in
mission,
South
steering
Texas
itself
and
to a
gamble
vertical
on it
landing or
that in
catch.
5
And
years
those
it'll be
stages are
worthwhile
designed to return to
without
Earth
people
by
supporting what we
making
do.
this
Just to
Yep.
name a few examples. So there you go.
And then just in between the 2 vehicles...
Does Adrian just Loopy wants to know at NASA Spaceflight, does the ship have a number stamped on it?
Nope.
I don't know why they stopped that again. I liked it. Can they also do that can they make it bigger and put it on both vehicles? It would make tracking also way easier. So I don't know why they stopped that again, but no.
Yeah, I'm going to answer this one. Herman wants to know, at NASA Spaceflight, will Flight 9 catch the booster? I'm going to go ahead and answer this because I know everybody's in the back channel working. No, they have rolled everything is back at the production site. Ship 35, I hope, will go to a soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean, and Booster 14-2 is targeting a lot of experiments with its engines and its reentry trajectory, and it is planning to, as SpaceX says, have a hard splashdown just off the coast in the Gulf. And so that's what's going to happen with these vehicles. And neither one of these are going back to the production site. There is a rumor that they might tow it if it survives the ship to Australia, but I wouldn't put too much stock in that. I think it's all about the telemetry and the data going forward. Adrian, would you agree?
I mean, I think there are some suspected ships that are being tracked that are like suspiciously around that potential area where the ship would splash down. So if they don't tow it, they might at least have a look at it, because these things can float. And also remember, even if they want to sink it and it doesn't sink, there's FAA paperwork that would allow them to sink a vehicle by assistance of a gunshot.
Yeah.
Yep. They would literally fire a rifle at a floating ship or booster to sink it.
If you have a keen eye, redacted.
Thanks for that sentence.
Yeah,
that's as bad as having a bleep button. Right?
Do with that what you will.
A redacted button. Mountain Monk asked the question, is this Pad B? No, they're still working on Pad B. You can see Pad B right there on your left, Tower 2. Look at I want to point out, look at the chopsticks on Tower 2. And now look at the chopsticks on Tower 1. I would love to see them go for a simulated ship catch on the tower on Tower 2. They're open. That would be it'd be so awesome to see. And from this angle, we may or may not redacted catch it. Redacted. There's a shot of Mission Control. Yak, are some of your friends in this picture?
Oh, it's Chris G.
Yep.
Oh, I know that guy.
I love that guy. He's one of the best humans. I haven't seen him in way too long. Very cool.
Look at all the people behind him. There's Elon.
Yeah, it looks like Elon's in mission control at Starbase.
Who postponed, by the way, his talk earlier today. He's still watching live coverage. One of those screens has NSF on it. You know it does.
I mean, honestly, that's not even a joke. It might have. Because there is for sure somebody that monitors a lot of cameras, And if you get a lot of additional
Can
cameras
I-
of the additional angles, there's a good chance.
Can I
Go
point
ahead,
out one
Alice.
thing? Look at the look at their screens. You cannot see them.
Oh.
Yeah, they have the.
I think they have installed screens that are like, you know,
Yeah.
if you look at them from an angle, you cannot see what's in them. On the previous flight, we were able to see
Yep.
the explosion of the Raptor
Oh, yeah.
on their replays,
Yeah.
right? I
It's like
feel
that
like they have
that
changed
security
that.
film stuff you can
Yeah.
put on your screen so that it doesn't have any off-angle view.
It's like on the airplanes. Like the airplanes have a similar screen thing, right, where you cannot see the screen from the guy on the left or the right or whatever.
They did that specifically. Look at the propellant load. As Adrian said, all 4 tanks are being loaded, 2 on the ship, 2 on the booster, methane and liquid oxygen. And to me, these are just progress bars. We just watch them go up. T-minus 25 minutes. T-minus 25 minutes to Starship Flight 9. I'm really excited on the experiments. I want them to get to SECO with this. I want them to do the in-space reflight of a Raptor to prove that they can go to orbit and then come back, right? Because we don't want a gigantic building-sized chunk of steel flying around in orbit uncontrolled. So that's a really important milestone. We saw one on previous flight, but this is important on this one. We all want to see the simulated Starlinks, the simlinks as we call them, the dumblinks. We want to see that deployment. I want to see the payload bay door work and work perfectly. And yes, I want to see plasma on a Block 2 ship, and I want to see a splashdown. But all data is good data. They're going to get it, and they're going to improve as they go forward. I can't wait to come back out to Starship for Flight 10, and it'll be so much fun. I mean, right now, 24 minutes.
We took full
There's a shot from
responsibility
Raquel.
for
Hey,
the
look,
cleanup.
Ross.
Doing so, we had people on the
He's got
ground
a
in the Bahamas.
microphone. He's typing. This is some of the behind the scenes you see. He's got his big tracking rig. You can see it on there on the left. It's going to get us some great shots. He built that. And that's what your support does, is allow NSF
Then 12 hours
to do
to
stuff
help
like
with
that.
debris
So
recovery.
as we go
So
and
all
we
that
thank
said,
support,
we're
we
moving
do it a
forward
lot,
in
I
our
know.
development cycle
And by the way,
with
let me just
safety
say
at the
this, and
top
Jack will
line.
back me up on this one. It
And we
doesn't
fly
have to
again today
be
to get
monetary
this current
support.
iteration of ship to
You
space
talking to
and
people about it.
Right.
You
Putting hardware
volunteering
in a
to
flight
help us.
environment
That's what
as
I
frequently
did.
as possible.
I just
So
reached
you're
out and said,
seeing
hey,
how things
you
use
guys sound like
altogether
it was actually
together.
Alex.
Then you're solving
You said
problems
something
as
on
they
chat,
pop up.
on a
That's how
stream, and I was
SpaceX
like,
developed a
I've been
very
watching this guy for years, and I just reached out, and now I'm privileged enough to be part of this team, and I love it. And yes, somebody sent the question in that said, yeah, it was Nom 5 minutes ago at NASA Space Flight. You guys have my dream job so jealous. Nom, I'm telling you right now, I wish your camera was on me. Reach out. It doesn't matter what email address you use. We'll find a place. I can't say that. Talk to Chris B. He'll find a place. But we need your support. We really do. So thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for
If
sharing.
you have
Thank
a
you for
skill
everything.
that you think is useful, send
Yes.
an email with a resume and some work samples to the relevant skill that you're saying you have, so that we know that you're telling the truth.
Let's get into it real quick.
No joke.
That is, those are like all things that help your signal get above the noise. But also, just like the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence, you know. Like we all do have amazing, cool jobs that we love, but like you can also have an amazing, cool job that you love. It doesn't have to be rockets. You can enjoy rockets in your free time.
I have like 6 amazing jobs that I love.
Heck yeah.
But
gold.
this is one of them. I put everything on hold for rocket launches, and we love the fact that you guys are here
Are we really
with
just
us.
22 minutes away? Wait,
22
is this
minutes.
really happening?
Yep.
I mean,
And
this
you're
is
watching-
always Starship. Starship is this weird time conundrum where
Yes.
we talk about it and it's like it seems far away, it seems far away, it seems far away. Oh, it's here.
Yep. Every time. 9 times now. 9
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
You think it's not happening until it's suddenly just there.
I remember sitting in a restaurant watching NSF on my phone. It was either, I don't know, it might have been Flight 1, Flight 2, but even the Starlink missions and all of the other launch providers that we cover, you take it everywhere in your pocket. It's amazing. Look at that frost line climbing up, and you're going to see it past those things that we're the catch hardware that's built into this booster and ship. And again, I want to reiterate, they're not catching either. They already know we're not catching either booster or ship on this flight. But again, coming up on T-minus 20 minutes, you're watching live launch coverage from NASASpaceflight.com of Starship Flight 9. We are NSF, a group of nerds that just love doing this, and we thank that you're here.
So this is the T-minus 20-minute event, right, Alex? I'm kidding. It's different rocket.
Yeah. Boo.
Hey, I liked it.
No, the what you see there right there is basically the tank farm. I mean, the tank farm is just basically a huge amount of pipes. If you want to make it very simple, the tank farm is just a very, very, very complicated combination of pipes and like valves that condition a lot of things. So what you see there is a lot of surface area coming in contact with about minus 200 degrees liquid that then forms condensation because, you see condensation forming already on way warmer objects. Now imagine like minus 200 degrees. That's a lot of condensation. So that's what you see there. And the good thing is, shortly before liftoff, this condensation will reduce because the loading will stop, which means there's less flow, less cold, and so hopefully we get less condensation shortly before liftoff.
And you don't want to send super cool propellant into an engine that is at ambient temperature. And I don't know what the ambient temperature is, but I know DOS does, and Gage does, and Max does. Go ahead, Adrian.
I will just confirm this if that's okay, Alex. Give me a thumbs up if I'm... Okay, there's a Raptor on this. A Raptor we have talked about before. The so-called Pi engine. 314 that will fly for the third time.
Yes.
It's absolutely amazing. Wow.
So what you're saying is Super Heavy is essentially a giant flying engine test stand.
Yes.
That's so wild, I don't even have a comedic thing to respond with.
I mean, that's wild.
Yeah. So cool.
I
so
love
cool
the
it's
fact that they're
cryogenic.
already using... Ooh, pun time. Sawyer just was like, yay! Another one of our commentators here who does all the puns. Pun token time. Gosh, what was I going to say? You're talking about the reuse. I love the fact that they're reusing multiple engines. It's not just 29 from a previous flight. They're mixing and matching. They're really pushing the engine. And they're still doing engine testing for the Raptor 3, which is an amazing piece of technology that they're testing out at McGregor. If you like our coverage here at NSF, it's really easy. You just go, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and watch Starbase Live, Space Coast Live, McGregor Live. As we go forward, as we build, as the community grows, there's going to be more. I love to hang out on Starbase Live and watch everything you see from the camera operators in the background.
In other news, a 2025 DOGE-inspired initiative is causing a stir with the release of a viral Trump survivor coin, receiving strong negative reaction videos from liberals nationwide. Starting today, Trump supporters can claim this historic gold coin for free, as long as they pay the shipping and handling. This coin immortalizes the historic moment on July 13th, where President Trump survived an assassination attempt. And liberals are not very happy, as can be seen by their very emotional, angry reaction videos. Normally priced at $49.97, it's now available at no cost for patriots who complete a quick 3-question poll to verify their support and cover the cost of delivery. It takes just 30 seconds, but here's the kicker. Supplies are extremely limited. If you're a proud Trump supporter, click the link now and claim yours before it's gone.
Here's how I accessed $30,000 from my home to pay off debt without refinancing or new monthly payments. Like many homeowners, I had high-interest credit card debt and other expenses adding up. But with rates so high, refinancing wasn't an option, and I didn't want another loan. That's when I found Splitero. Instead of taking on more debt, I accessed my home equity with no monthly payments, no income requirements, and no impact on my mortgage. Now, my debt is paid off and I have peace of mind. Want to see how much you could access? Check your estimate today at Splitero.com.
while they're launching reused Raptors on this booster a third time.
That's
At least
remarkable.
we know for one.
Raptor
It's incredible.
314. I really hope it's visible to, if not our cameras, some of SpaceX's cameras. I'm hoping Max and D have set up some absolutely stellar shots, and maybe one of those will capture the Pi Raptor, because that's special. The first Raptor to hit three reflights that we know about.
Yeah, at least that we know about. But that one's going in the drink. So,
True. This will be the end.
Well done, 314. You've served SpaceX and us fans well. As propellant keeps loading, and Adrian, you were speaking earlier, does that jive with the timeline, or do you think it's a little early? Do you think that's right where we should be?
We are right where we should be. They're targeting, as of now, the opening of the window. So right now, Starship flies again in under 20 minutes from now.
That is good to hear. And by the way, those of you that are sending in support, please don't think we've forgotten you. It's just overwhelming. Those of you that are sending questions, same thing. It's just overwhelming.
Ooh, Doss has his tracking rig.
Yeah, I was talking about it earlier. This is what I was talking about with that support. Able to build things like this. He moves that. If you could just see, he moves it with a controller, a console controller.
It's probably like literally the focus. Yeah, like focus on the controller.
That's cool.
When he tracks, I've stood right next to him and watched this. It's amazing. He is watching the camera. I'm watching the ship. The 33 engines I love saying it, turn into a single star as it goes uphill, as they say, as it goes up into the atmosphere. He is looking at this, 6x9, 4x6 screen, and he's moving, he's slewing that camera. Is that a word that you use in camera operation? He's slewing it, and he'll always tell you the ship starts out slow, then gets really fast, and then the booster comes back really fast, then gets slow again, and that's the hard part. And he is a master at keeping that as close to perfect as possible. But we also have our remote cameras and our other amazing photographers out there. Their eye is just, I'm just so jealous. And again, Jack, you're one of them. I own a picture that you took.
It's not about me, Gene. It's about the hard-working team that's out there right now. I have abdicated on this one, so I'm so excited to see everything that they make. It's going to be phenomenal. And to your point, it's not just about point camera. It's not just about move joystick. You also need to take things into consideration, like making sure your focus is right, making sure the rates on the motors on the robotic head, if that's what you're using, are dialed in. So when you need to move fast, it will move fast, and when you need to move slow, you don't get too jerky or too sudden or too much of a movement with a small input on the joystick. Like it's rockets, man. They're hard. They're hard to build. They're hard to fly. They're hard to not have explode at the wrong time, and they're hard to capture content of. But if it was easy, everybody would do it, and it would be way less fun.
That's exactly right.
Some additional information. As of now, the SpaceX team is tracking no issues on today's countdown.
Yes.
Which is very, very good. That's what
awesome.
we want to hear. They're just working down the checklist. And additional info, we talked earlier about them changing the hot staging. And you can already guess this based on the hot staging ring block placement we talked about earlier. But just as an additional info, after the hot staging, the booster will flipping up. So basically away from Earth up, and then will the boost back. So that's very similar to the movement it performed on Flight 5.
Even though, and I'm gonna, this is something I noticed, the blocked part of the hot stage ring faces the tower. And when the ship, we talked about this earlier, or on another stream, when the ship, I think Ryan Weber said it does a slight roll program so that the heat shield is actually facing north. We had some previous footage, so it does roll slightly. I'm looking for confirmation from anyone who knows what I'm talking about, because I could be completely wrong. Doesn't that mean that, because the hot stage roll is going to roll with it, doesn't that mean that the hot stage that's blocked is facing the TPS?
Now,
which means it's
while
going
this
to go
reuse milestone
left,
is incredibly important
according
for
to the
Starship's
flight, according to
development,
with its
Super Heavy
flight.
boosters are not
Not
the only
up,
vehicles
because
that
that
we
would-
reuse
go ahead.
here at SpaceX.
The
We're
block
big on
part is on the
reuse,
right
and our
side of the.
Dragon fleet
You can
is
see there
another
right now,
example of
very
that
good.
reuse.
Like it's not.
And we actually control those Dragon missions from right here in Hawthorne.
It's like it's basically just at the middle of the TPS, and we will see exactly where the row program performs to, because that's also not 100% consistent all the time. But based on this information, the TPS would be facing the Earth now. But we will see how it actually looks. Also, SpaceX is absolutely expecting on this flight to stress the booster a lot, and that's what they have been underlying in the blog post as well. They expect a rough booster re-entry, and there might be. When they say rough, rough could mean a sudden loss of booster. Let's be real here. And that is 100% an option that could happen.
In the coming years.
Interesting.
Now, most recently,
I know
on
they're
our Farm 2
changing
mission,
the
we offer
return
unique
profile
glimpses into the
of
orbital
the
spaceflight
booster,
experience.
but because
And this is
they're
honestly
intentionally going
just
to see if they can
so
get
cool
it to
see.
slow
Thank you
it
to our
down with its
Starlink teams
own
for making everything with the Farm 2
shines and cross section,
This honestly
body
made me feel like I
design,
was right there
which
with
is going to
them
put more
in
stress on
Dragon.
it. So
They
be
were
looking
living,
for
they
that
were
if
working,
we
they were
get that.
relaxing, they were
It's always-
doing their experiments
It's always
while
tricky
also having
when
fun.
you get to
Basically,
stage step
just
to
being
choose,
people and inviting
if
us
you're a
along
camera
for the
person,
ride,
or
and
even
that
with your
was
own eyeballs,
really
yeah.
meaningful.
what to watch,
Being
what to
invited
stay
up
with.
there
Do you
really
stay
showed
with
how
ship
these are
or do you
just
stay
the
with
early days
booster?
on the road to
Now,
making life
normally on a
multiplanetary.
catch,
And the
if there
vehicle
was a
that's gonna
catch
make
today,
all of
which
that
there's not
happen
going to be,
is Starship.
I think it's a pretty
And
fair
Dan and
choice
Jesse,
as
I don't know
someone
about you, but
in the
that is
vicinity
definitely a future I have wanted
stay
since
with
I was a little
booster.
kid, and I cannot
However,
wait to see us make it a
in
reality.
this case, there's no catch,
Yeah,
and the ship
right
might
there with
explode
you,
before
Chris.
sequence.
yeah.
So
The fact that we're getting close to
it's
that
going to be a tough.
reality,
It's going to be a tough call.
the
I know
vehicle
for
that's gonna
anyone
go
out there
sitting on
pointing
the pad
cameras at
right
this
there,
thing.
like,
But
that's endlessly
to your
exciting.
point, and
All
to
that's gonna
Adrian's point,
include
SpaceX
sending
has
humans, all of the
repeatedly said they're going to be
infrastructure for permanent
stressing
presence
this
on
booster
Mars,
and
and
really
we're
testing the
looking
heck out of it.
ahead
So
to sending the
there's a
very
fair
first
chance that this thing
Starships
just
to
goes
Mars
pop
as early
way
as
up in the
next
sky
year.
and looks really cool.
Yeah, this will help prove
and
that we
that's
can
not the
actually
end of the
get
world
to
if that
Mars with
happens.
focus on learning
I'm
as
wondering,
much as
Alex.
possible while demonstrating
Ah!
what will be needed for
Yeah,
Mars
you're yelling.
transit
I love
and
it.
landing.
T-minus
But
9 minutes,
before we can
48
make
seconds. I want to bring
life
Alex into the
multiplanetary,
conversation real
we
quick about the
have
hot
to build the
stage.
starships that will
SpaceX
make
has
this
said
all
that
possible.
in previous
That's right,
flights,
and
the
that's
booster
happening
boost
right
back
here.
flip, if you will,
Starbase,
has just been
Texas,
random.
The gateway to
Random is not
Mars.
something
This
you
is
think
where
of in
Flap
space.
testing,
we're
look
gonna
at
be
that.
launching
Look at
up
the
to
nose cone.
There goes the
25
flap. Yep.
Starship launches per
There we
year
go,
from
right on
here.
time.
Starbase.
Continue.
And
Sorry,
the
John.
place is
Sorry.
changing
They're
every
talking about a
single day.
propellant,
We've
right? They're talking
grown
about,
quite a
oh,
bit
if we
just
know
in the
where it's
last couple
going, we
of
can plan
years.
for the propellant.
There's a couple hundred employees.
But they didn't know where it was going,
families
and the
living
booster
amongst
was caught
actual
twice. Why do
rockets.
this?
We're in the process
Well,
of
because they want
expanding
to
production
be able
and
to
integration. We've
use
got a target of
as
1,000
much propellant
starships a year
as they
we're
can
gonna
during the
try to
ascent,
hit.
because that means it
And
pushes the
recently,
ship a little
we
bit
did
more,
become
and so
a
the ship
city of
doesn't
our
need to
own.
make
We're the first city in
to do
Cameron
as much of the
County
work
in
to
30
reach
years,
orbit,
and that's just
and
gonna
so
help
that
us
means more
scale
more payload to
quickly, try to
space.
build out the best community
So yeah,
possible for all
that's
the
pretty much
people that are
the
building the
gist of it.
future of
That's always the
humanity's
goal.
place
That's why
in
they
space.
remove tiles to
Starbase,
test the
pretty easily
thermal
one of the
protection
most
system. The
inspiring,
fewer of those they
exciting, unique
need
places to
for
live and
a
work on the
ship
planet.
surviving re-entry
As usual,
at peak
shameless
heating,
plug.
the more mass to orbit
He's hiring
they can do.
people.
And that's always the goal.
Come help us build the
There was a question earlier about the ship getting there by itself without the booster. I don't know about
See
that.
all of our updates.
I don't think so.
My first
But
time in Starbase.
I don't know. They were talking
Dan,
about
the
point to
Star
point earlier.
Factory
There's a
is
lot of stuff in the
manufacturing
future that we have no
engineer's
idea is
dream.
going to happen.
To be able to build a factory
Um,
like this at
we're coming
such
up on
a
8.5
large scale
minutes,
with such
and
a large scale
I want to do another
vehicle
status
is
check.
So wild to me.
I always ask Alex
and though
when
I'm
we
just
do other
visiting,
streams,
Chris
like,
is
where
hanging
are we?
out
Where is the
right
ship?
where
Where
I
is the
call
stage
home
0?
base,
What are
so
they
let's check
doing in
back
the
in with
control
Chris
room
in
right now
Hawthorne.
at coming up on T-minus 8 minutes?
Yeah, right now they are continuing to load propellant on both vehicles. They've transitioned to load propellant on the header tanks of the ship. Remember, those are going to be the ones that are going to be used for the relight experiment in space and also for the landing burn of the ship. So those are very important to be filled, of course. But we are very close to the end of that propellant load sequence. You can see the tanks are all mostly frosty already. That means they are very, very full. The ship will first be the one wrapping up that propellant load at T-minus 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Then the booster around 30 seconds later at T-minus 2 minutes and 50 seconds. And then it's just a waiting game of hoping for no holds at the T-minus 40 second gate, right? That's sort of their moment in the count where after the propellant is loaded, they do the final checks and everything. They arm the flight termination system and everything. They do a bunch of checks on the navigation systems and blah blah blah. All the very active things, and then they hold at 40 seconds if things do not look good. But if they do look good, then they fly through that. They vent down the fluid interfaces with a quick disconnect arm, the quick disconnect for the booster, and so all of that will be prepared for liftoff, and hopefully we're gonna get a liftoff hopefully in less than 7 minutes now. Really, really close to launch now. Heart racing.
Adrian, did you want to chime in?
No, I'm just the moment Alex said less than 7 minutes from now, I was like, oh yeah, he's true.
Alex, let's take that one step further. Hang on, Jack. Let's take that one step further and talk about immediately after launch what folks can expect to see. Obviously, if you've seen one before, you know. If you haven't, it's going to be excitement guaranteed. Talk about the vehicles immediately at launch.
Yep, able to see that ship head into space and complete its ascent burn, which it didn't on flights 7 and 8, and we are really hoping for that to occur this time around, and just getting so that amazing booster return that they're trying, a really hard return, I guess, with that entry profile at a higher angle of attack, and then also a really, weird booster landing burn profile that they're trying here.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of things, I think, on this flight we haven't seen before. And, I'm not talking, the way the engines are configured, if you don't know, there are 3 engines in the middle, and there's a ring of 10. And then there's an outer ring. The outer ring doesn't gimbal. The inner ring does. They're specifically going to cut on the booster. Is it landing burn? Landing burn. One center engine, and see what happens to the outer 10 if they can compensate. Right, Adrian?
Yeah, absolutely. They are basically stressing, hey, by the way, what if we lose one of these 3 very crucial engines, can we compensate? Can we still land? And that is important because once you get that engine out capability, well, there you go. That's another redundance. That's another chance to increase your chance of a successful catch. By the way, SpaceX was final system checks, and they are basically performing a complete rundown of everything that these vehicles have to do. We saw some flap testing earlier. Everything is basically moving, gimbling, checking, and once this is all checked, there you go.
And we are under T-minus 4 minutes. Remember, there is a T-minus 40-second hold. We want them to blast right through it, and we are all just... This is the moment where it's like pins and needles, right? I'm usually running from this point up the stairs to the roof of the Margaritaville where Dawson Gage are, and every time I go up there, my comms fail, so all I got to do is watch. This time around, we're going to listen to these amazing microphones. We're going to listen to the sounds of these 33 Raptor engines, and I mean, you can't see Jack right now. I can see Jack. We are all on pins and needles. Go, Adrian.
And at this point, at 3 minutes and 20 seconds, ship propellant load should have been completed, which means the upper stage should be fully loaded. By the way, I love that I have cameras of everybody because I can see some anxiety from certain people here building up. It's funny.
Hey. Stop it.
Yeah, this is the moment I just get so excited.
Yep, and there's tower vent. I'm sorry, it's so much happening. There's tower vent. Yep. Tower vent return means ship loading is complete.
So the ship's full.
Yes.
All right.
And go ahead.
No, I'm just excited. The ship's full of propellant.
Propellant load is complete, and right now they're getting things ready to go. T-minus 2.5 minutes, guys. 2.5 minutes. Oh, this is the moment.
They still have some propellant to go on the booster, but the ship is fully loaded.
No, actually, they should have not anymore. The booster should be fully loaded at this point, and we should see the OLM spool up any second now again as the booster is done. But in theory, we should be done. But we are also getting confirmation that SpaceX will take the optional hold and might look at some more things. This is not anything bad. That can happen. We have seen launches in the past where this happened. But SpaceX will take the hold at T-minus 40 seconds and check out some additional things.
So when you see the clock in the upper left-hand corner count down, it is going to stop at T-minus 40 seconds, as we just said, as we approach T-minus 1 minute. This is normal. They have this option, and we talked about it earlier about how long they can hold. The sheer massive propellant in the booster and the ship help keep the cryogenic propellant cold. They do have some time. And again, this is the moment when they're in the control room and they're doing these checkouts of the ship. They're looking, they want to make sure everything is green as possible before they send this thing uphill and hopefully all the way to a safe splashdown in the Indian Ocean as we come up to T-minus 1 minute. Go, Adrian.
Yeah, it sounds like they're using this hold T-minus 40 to do additional checkouts of boosters Raptors. So again, 29 of these Raptors are going to be flying for a second time. You might want to make extra sure that they're going to be good to go in the final moments leading up to launch, which we're coming up 10 seconds away from that 40-second hold. We will see, 28 for a second time.
Yep.
1 for a third time. Thank you, Adrian.
Which is awesome.
I appreciate being nitpicked in that way because I would do it to you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely you would.
So we're in a hold now. We're in a hold. That's fine. Starship is not like Falcon 9. As we've said, it does use sort of densified propellants a little bit, but it's not the same as Falcon 9. There's so much propellant mass. There's so much volume there that they have a little bit more time before they can before things start to warm up to a point where they have to recycle, right?
Yep.
So keep your eye.
There's the T-minus 40 seconds optional hold that is taken.
Yeah, and as of right now, the vehicle and the ship, they're fully loaded. They're doing those final checkouts. And this is really important for those Raptors because, they're eventually going to go to 35. And we want to make sure, I mean, they got to make sure, like you said, 28 of these are flown twice. Go ahead. Alex?
We'll see if they reach 35. I want to say one thing, though. Be on the lookout because if they clear the hold, it can be very quickly. Remember, it's 40 seconds, right? Be on the lookout because sometimes the information from SpaceX might be delayed. Even 10 seconds of delay, that's already a quarter of the way to T0, right? So we should be on the lookout as well for what is happening at the launch pad. If we hear certain vents or the detonation suppression system activating and things like that, that is an indication that they have cleared, right? And so just making sure, because 40 seconds might seem like an eternity, but it's very quickly.
It's a very certain vent we are here. Like I'm sure Alex is listening for right now, and I'm listening for it now. Yep,
clock is
rolling.
Here we go.
Good luck.
There we go,
guys. T-minus 30 seconds. You're going to see the fire suppression system, then the deluge, and we're going to stop there. Go for launch.
Hold.
Yep.
They're
Water
holding.
deluge. Yep.
All right. No big deal. Again, they have the ability to hold a little bit.
Yeah. So do they recycle? Here's a question. Do they recycle it back to the T40?
If it is before deluge activation, yes. If not, then that will be the S word, but I'm not going to say it.
Right. It does look like the deluge has not activated. Obviously, we can see it.
It doesn't look like it activated, so they could still try today again. Okay?
Did the detonation suppression system activate?
Yeah, but they have multiple tries for that one.
Okay, they have multiple charges of that. Okay, cool.
Yeah. In theory, they should be able to be good with that.
So again, you're watching live launch coverage of Starship Flight 9. Both booster and ship are fully loaded. They held at 40 seconds. The clock continued to move.
There go.
And
ground side issue.
And we are awaiting the activation of the water deluge system and the fire suppression system underneath the OLM.
They have they're working on a whatever that exactly means, but they're working on a ground side issue. That could be, for example, I'm just spilling things here. Like, for example, the ground side of the Raptor start. Because they ground side start some of the Raptors. That could be one of the ground side issues here. It could be some last minute of the QD issues. That's the kind of ground side things we are talking about here. That could be potentially an issue here, but we are probably getting more information at some point.
Remember to breathe, everyone.
Thank you for that. Yeah, thank you for that.
My face is turning red.
Remember, I think. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say SpaceX calls the ground support equipment stage 0. And it's just as important that work every time 100% the way we want it to. That is just as rapidly reusable going forward as the ship and the booster itself. So this is very important as they look at this issue. This is not a ship issue. This is not a booster issue. This is a stage 0.
This is such a gross oversimplification, but if you've ever made a model rocket and set it off, but it like doesn't go off the little launch pad thing, right? And kind of just goes sideways or just sits there and doesn't do anything, and the parachute pops out all sad. Like, you don't want that. You want the ground support equipment to work properly.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been to a 4th of July or have seen a firework that you hit the launch button or light the fuse disappears, and you're sitting there like, uh-oh, now what? Do we walk up to it? So they're working these issues, and we are just like you on the edge of our seats. We are waiting for word from SpaceX that they're going to recycle to a 40-second hold. They have some time, or keep going. We're looking for the fire suppression system and the deluge system. Go ahead, Jack.
What do we have left in the window? Like 55 minutes? How long is the window, Adrian?
But now
we have. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, but now that they have loaded propellant, the hold time is like 15-20 minutes. It's not that long.
Got it. Oh, wow.
They're still looking at all of the systems and everything.
Is this the longest they've ever held in a Starship count?
Maybe? No.
Maybe only because I'm always in the field?
We had like a 10-minute hold somewhere. I'm trying to remember, but I think we are in one of the earlier flights we had like a 10-minute or so hold. And again, they have some options here. Let's not we are not yet in a
yeah, they've got time. They've got time.
And of course, this is the obligatory point in the launch broadcast where I say you'd rather be on the ground wishing you're in space than being in space or in the air wishing you were on the ground. Of course, we all want to see the thing happen at the designated time, but ultimately, rocket science is super, super complicated. That's why they call it rocket science. It's not brain surgery, but it is rocket science. So, you want to make sure what is essentially your giant fuel tanks and very fancy plumbing is going to work properly. And if it's not looking it's going to work properly, then, then you need to fix it.
Clock rolling.
Clock's rolling?
Yep.
So now we watch for the DSS.
For it.
Watch the bottom part of the stack.
There it is.
See fire suppression.
There it is. Watch for the deluge.
Oh my god, here we go.
Yes. You can see 33 healthy. Raptor engines as Flight 9 takes off and it's on its way uphill. A beautiful launch, guys. Absolutely amazing audio. As we are through max Q and approaching stage separation, keep your eye on it. You'll see the stage separation through the amazing tracking. Is this DOS? I'm assuming this is DOS with his amazing tracking rig.
Based on the angle, I think it's either DOS or Gauge. I'm not sure. I would be willing to wager DOS. But you're right, Gene. 33 healthy Raptor engines. That's so important to point out, as so many of these are being reused. And that's the first thing I noticed on liftoff. They look good. I see a bright circle there with no dim spots.
What you're going to see now is
big tickets items are coming. The big ticket items are still coming.
You might notice the rocket is in a different attitude now. It has rolled for the hot staging and the directional flip.
Here we go.
There's most engines cut off.
There we go.
SpaceX stream a little delayed. It's fine.
Yep.
There it is.
Miko.
Wow, you could even see them throttled down before Miko. That was cool.
Hot staging.
There's the flip.
Oh, that goes up. There goes up. It goes up.
It is going up.
That's beautiful.
And goodbye, booster.
Also,
boost back.
6 healthy engines on. Yep.
13 for the boost back as well.
13 healthy engines for boost back. Guys, this is going to be a rough ride for Booster 14-2. Just pay attention. We look.
Engine bay cam.
Yes.
Healthy engines taking Starship.
Did they label the Raptors without serial numbers, but with what engine number they are?
No, they have both. They have both.
Okay.
Yeah.
We come back to our tracking of the boosters. It's come down. Now, this is going to be a steeper trajectory or less
boost back
steep?
burn. That looked like shutdown of the boost back burn.
It did.
There goes the hot staging ray. Look at that.
They're going to be testing this booster like crazy. So we might see some fireworks as it comes down and hits the atmosphere. We don't know what to expect. SpaceX hasn't really done anything like this with a booster since they started catching them, or maybe even at all. So all eyes are on Booster 14-2 right now, slowly heading toward its noble demise, but hopefully providing some awesome data in the process.
I'm really interested to see the engine out test.
And we also keep an eye on the ship. Don't worry.
Yes.
We have everything here monitored. And again, the ship issues the last time happened after the booster both did their touchdown. So basically, the moment this booster is out of frame is when we put every attention we have on that ship.
Right. What was the timing of the anomalies on 7 and 8? Was it like 7 or 8 minutes into flight, or am my brain just broken?
It's like right after touchdown. It's like 8 minutes-ish. Like every time people start celebrating on the stream, Alex and I went like, but...
Yeah.
Ooh, hot staging ring. Check that out.
Yeah, it's so cool.
You can distinctly see it separate from the booster. So Kerbal. I mean, booster looks fine so far, right? So far.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not in the atmospheric, like, really, where it will do some crazy atmospheric things.
Right. Also, please ship 35 do good. Please ship 35 do good.
Come on, 35.
Come on, 35. Come on, 14-2.
Here comes the booster. Okay. You can see the back end. Those are vents. Those are purge vents, right?
Yeah.
You see from the bottom of the booster.
The fact that this booster's still in frame, by the way, is remarkable.
And we are going to hear audio of that engine. We always do, even though it's out over the Gulf. Remember, no catch. They're going potentially simulated catch. But look at the angle of it. It's totally different.
Should be coming up on that. There we go. Look at that.
Amazing. That thing is really coming in fast. The bottom section just heating up from aero forces. There's some ablative cork underneath there that's going to go away on future versions of Booster, being replaced by metal tiles. But that red glow, you can see, it almost looks like a cigarette lighter. Looks like the booster's descending into the haze.
So AFTS has been saved, so no FTS active on this booster anymore. That's normal.
That's good.
Yeah, it's always tough to see when it's out over the Gulf. And it's in the
coming
haze.
up on that landing burn for the booster.
Oh.
Oh.
Come on.
Oh.
That looked like a rat.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, we said it might be possible.
Yeah. And back to the ship.
Now that's the big
Back to the
ticket. We
ship.
knew
Yep.
that could happen with
Yep.
the booster. Don't panic about this. Don't like this was expected. This is the big ticket item.
Six engines.
How are we looking so far? I see 6, yeah.
Plus,
I-
plus
Yeah.
6 minutes, 30 seconds.
I will mention some vents we have seen inside of the engine bay that are, but they could be part of the new purge system that is placed in the attic to also like protect the section there. So so far, I would say,
finally, the speed.
yeah, thank
Now,
you.
I want to preface one thing, okay? If you see the vacuum raptors shutting down while the sailors are still ongoing, that is the planned shutdown sequence for Seco, okay? It's just that, flights 7 and 8, that was not to plan, right? The plan will be to shut down first the vacuum engines, leaving the center engines running for a few more seconds. Roughly 30 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, is what we should see. So,
And
everybody...
that's the
Can we just point
breathe.
out that Raptor is burning right now? Like, all 6 Raptors
Yes.
are burning. You just can't
Yes.
see the plume because methane burns so clean.
Yep.
Yeah, and also want to point out this shutdown sequence that Alex just mentioned is exactly what they have also simulated on their on the test stand with the long duration fire.
Yep. We've seen a lot of that testing at McGregor.
And
Beautiful,
so far,
beautiful footage.
we are exactly at the area where it gets spicy, but we are not that far away from Seco anymore.
Hold
My
on,
pulse
ship
like
35.
Come on,
There's a
35,
hot
you can do
spot.
it.
Looks like there's
Yeah,
a
there's
hot
a bit of a
spot.
hot
Oh,
spot there.
Oh, no.
You see that?
Okay,
Yes.
terminal guidance. Ship's in terminal guidance. It's adjusting its final
Is that a little
few
bit of
seconds of the burn.
Is that-
Flame from
I
the
saw
attic?
that too at the very top. Yep. Oh, come
There's a
on.
bit of flame. Come on, ship. Pull through.
You're so
Oh,
close,
no.
buddy.
Oh, God.
You're so close, 35. Come on,
This
buddy.
stress is killing me.
Should be close to Arvac. Shut down, given the previous ships. There
There's
we go.
Arvac.
Outrage shutdown. Outrage shutdown.
Okay. 1,000
bit more,
kilometers
dude.
per hour away from Seco.
You can do it.
Come on, buddy.
Now purge the stew out of it.
Come on,
let's
buddy.
Be
go.
chill. Just be
Should
chill.
we
You have
close?
it.
Come on.
I think they got it.
And
Yes.
yes! Cut off!
Let's go.
Oh,
They
my
did it.
Gosh.
Phew!
Yes.
I'm seeing additional hot spots, but who cares? They got
Okay.
to Seco.
Yes.
Oh!
I'm. Give me a second. I need to release some things
That's
here.
amazing. That's
Adrian.
absolutely amazing.
Oh.
Whoa, did
Okay,
you see
coast
that?
face now.
Look at that. There looks like there's some interaction between some of the ice that's being shed. It's like getting
Yeah, there's-
sucked back
there's-
into the...
There are vents at the bottom of the aft.
Is it tumbling, or do you think it's reorienting?
There's a lot of venting going
There's
on.
only one way to find out.
Real.
Yeah.
What a beautiful machine. I'm so glad they got through Seco. I'm sure they got tons of really valuable data. I really want
Yes.
to know what some of those things we saw were. What's that red stripe on the side? Is that fine? That's fine, right? That's probably just gap fill for the TPS or something.
Yeah, that's it. Yes. I'm going to say it's fine.
Yeah, one of
don't
the
know.
things to take also into account when these ships fly, right, they are not carrying 100 tons of propellant. So they have still leftover, not 100 tons of propellant, 100 tons of cargo. So they still have leftover propellant. And what they're doing right now is dumping that, right? And so that's a similar thing that we've seen in previous flights. And those vents at the bottom, for example, that we saw venting, those are normal. They are in fact there.
Just saw
as
achieved,
sort of a-
carried through across all of our sites.
Hi, Chris G.
What an incredible view to see Starship back orbiting the Earth just under 11 minutes into our mission. Absolutely exciting to see all of this, and super pumped especially to see all of the team's hard work in action here today. As guaranteed, it has been an exciting evening so far for Starship's 9th test flight. We lifted off a little bit after 6:30 p.m. after a couple of holds that were triggered at the T-minus 40-second mark, but we were able to clear those, one on the Raptor, one on the tower, and we were able to lift off successfully from Starship Starbase. 33 out of 33 Raptor engines lit on the Super Heavy. All 6 engines lit on ship, bringing it to its planned suborbital trajectory around Earth. But as Dan said, we've got a lot still coming up in our flight sequence. So coming up at about T plus 18 minutes, 26 seconds, we'll have the first deployment of simulated Starlink satellites planned from Starship. That will be followed at about T plus 37 minutes and 49 seconds by the relight of a single Raptor sea level engine in space. This is going to help us gather data on our ability to do a deorbit burn for future Starship missions that will go orbital. And then, of course, one of the biggest tests yet to come is the new heat shield modifications to Starship. And that'll start with re-entry into Earth's atmosphere at about the T plus 45 minute mark, which should take about 16, 18 minutes to complete. And now today's reentry is going to test that heat shield like we said, specifically how Starship will hold up to 100 missing heat shield tiles on its thermal protection system. Now, we purposely took those 100 tiles off over very critical areas of the vehicle to be able to safely test on a flight like this suborbital trajectory into the Indian Ocean what might happen on an operational flight in those areas if we were to lose the primary heat shield tile over Starship. So very critical test coming up. And then after that, we'll have the final descent where we will again be pushing Starship to its limits. We definitely pushed the booster to its limits today to gather data, and we're going to be doing the exact same thing on that ship, seeing how the ship handles various flight conditions that we will need it to fly in as we look to one day soon bring ships back to Starbase for catch and reuse. Now, while there are payload simulators on Starship for deployment today, as we will see in a few minutes, the primary data and the primary payload for today is the data. And today, just like with Starship's previous test flights, that data is coming to us courtesy of our Starlink network. In fact, it is from Starlink that you are seeing these wonderful views of ship in space right now. So, and I can't wait to see Starlink really provide those epic views and that data transmission during reentry, which is very, very critical to getting that data during reentry. So, Dan and Jesse, it's been an exciting day so far. There's more to come as we get ready for Starship's first ever payload deploy. What can we expect next here in the next few minutes?
Wow. What a great update from Chris.
This
G.
view, is that from the FTS box? The flight termination system box?
It might be.
It looked like it was looking up, right?
Whoa.
Look at those colors.
Is that,
it's
going
going
into plasma?
No, that's sunset.
Sunset.
It's going into sunset now.
What a... I know I keep saying this. What a gorgeous machine.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so glad it made it. It made it!
Yeah, absolutely.
So do we think it's going to make it through entry?
I said it again, like,
100 missing tiles?
Well, it's now on a path at least to get to the entry interface. Another whole thing is whether it survives afterward.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. He said it was very critical because in case they lose a heat shield tile at a critical point on the ship, that tells me this is a test of they want to see if it can make it or not. I mean, it's 50-50 at that point, right? I don't.
You got to figure if you have a crewed vehicle like a Starship coming back in. Oh,
hey,
payload
look at that!
previews!
Yes, I wanted this for the deployment.
Please, please show us the door open and the payload deploy, please.
Okay, door off to left, door off to right. Door below us?
Below us, I think. I'm not sure.
Below us. I don't know either.
I'm actually not. No, I don't know. I can't tell.
I think door below us because look at the rails, the feeding rails.
I think it was to the
That's
right or to
beautiful.
the left. I'm not sure. Either way, to complete the thought, if you had a crewed vehicle and you're coming back in and you're missing tiles and you know you're missing tiles, you probably want to know exactly how many you can miss while still being safe, and you probably want to know exactly where you can miss them. Like, what if you miss one on this weld line? What if you miss one on this boring, bland, not important tank wall side? Like, all of that stuff is very important data.
It's funny. That on the right is a COPV, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That is a COPV.
Because you can see
100%.
the carbon fiber.
Yeah.
There's
Composite
no
overwrap
banana
pressure
scale.
vessel.
and you're seeing the Starlink simulators. I wonder if they're going to show us them going bink, bink.
I hope so.
So it's probably a little bit pressurized, if not entirely pressurized.
Yeah, I bet when they open the door, we'll see all of this get sucked out.
Oh, that's gonna be so cool.
Yes. It is going to be so
I
cool.
will get a bit of ahead of myself here because I know we are still in flight, but I will still say, no matter what happens next, well done, SpaceX team, because this is an improvement. No matter what comes next, well done.
Absolutely. Progress, like Alex said. This is exactly what we all wanted to see. Is we wanted to see the ship get through SECO. We wanted to see them gather more data so they can start launching starships more, start putting up these full-size Starlink V3s, start getting more people internet in places where the telecom companies will take your tax dollars but not lay fiber for some stupid reason. Like, we want to live as a multiplanetary society, and now
They just said that they were going to be opening the payload.
Yeah, like they're looking. We're just a couple minutes away now from the
It
deployment.
looks like the payload bay door was going to be open, but they are not able to open it completely, so they're going to be closing it. So Starlinks are going to be there.
That's okay.
Yeah,
It's
you know
okay.
what? That's good data. That data
right.
says, hey, build a better door.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's important data. It's very simple data, but it's very important data.
You know what? Just going to say one thing. You know the whole thing of best part is no part? Just watch them fly with no door.
Best doors.
Oh, no. Okay, I have something to tell you here. NSF is actually responsible for this flight being a success. Because, listen out to me here. Every time we put something on the patch, the opposite happens. So this time, we prepared a patch where the ship explodes, so it doesn't. I'm not even joking. This patch is now available at shop.nasaspaceflight.com. You can order it until the end of the week.
Wait,
it's
seriously?
just a limited run.
Yeah.
The extra secret shop. This is the patch. We are making this patch.
This isn't like a meme, like a joke that you just...
No, we are making this patch.
Oh, I gotta go. Don't talk to me. I'm gonna buy this.
Yeah, this is an actual patch, the NSF Shrug patch, because every time we put something on these patches, the opposite happens.
Oh
so
my god, it's at the top
not...
of the shop.
Yep.
Purchased. I got mine coming.
And there's more. If you go to the Starbase collection, if you don't mind, friendly producer, there, exactly that. There's 2 more designs I want to show out. So I'm a gamer, right? I love achievements, and you can also get the Achievement Unlocked Didn't Blow Up Ship 35 t-shirt now.
Bought, purchased.
And there's also another one, the I Made Seco 3rd Times the Charm, also available in orange. So there you go, that's our shop update to celebrate this. Again, the patch is limited because we need to order it at some point. It's a pre-order, it will ship in July, but... I take some credit for this working because we jinxed it successfully. There you go.
Wow.
Live on stream purchases. I love it.
I cannot believe you guys did. You mad lads. Just another way you can support what we do. Also, I'm sure the team out in the field is working on metal prints. So if you have a cart, maybe wait a couple minutes and get a metal print too, or just have 2 cards. You know, I'm not gonna tell you how to.
The panel's about to break again. The panel's about to break. I think it already has actually.
I love this so much. The shruggy guy. I love the little shruggy guy. Everything is perfect about it. Like, great job.
So, guys, I've got to do my job here. You're watching live launch coverage from NSF. NASASpaceflight.com. Starship Flight 9 got through stage engine, second engine cutoff. However, apparently there was an issue with the door, right, Alex? There was an issue with the door. They tried to get it open, and apparently they're just closing it. Okay, go ahead, Alex.
I don't know if you're looking at this view that we have on the right-hand side.
Yeah, what's that view on the right, Alex?
But you may see there are some clouds, some palm trees. That's actually from the Keys.
You sent a camera to the Keys?
Yeah, to the Florida Keys. That was Julia, apparently, from what we're being told in the back channel, to see if, we saw something, either lots of streaks or just one single dot. but I'm thinking that maybe the clouds got in the way.
That looks like the clouds might have interfered. Also, the ship didn't explode before Seco, so
But
nothing for Julia to capture. But we did send Julia to the Keys just in case.
She could have seen it, if it wasn't that cloudy. That was also the other option, right? That we're not sending people because it's gonna blow up or whatever. But you can get an amazing jellyfish of Starship. Who doesn't want that?
I want it. I want it.
I want
Stupid
to see that
clouds.
too.
Somebody play the video of me yelling at clouds from Starbase Update like 2 years ago. Stupid clouds. But seriously, Julia rolled out for us to provide an additional angle. So thank you to her for that, and just yet another way how we try to up our game every single launch. We're always trying to bring you guys new angles and new ways to cover things, new ways to see ships hopefully not explode. You know the deal. You know the drill.
So, thank you, Julia, and the rest of our team. Amazing work and great job, SpaceX. You can see them still in their mission control. Question, Alex or Adrian, whoever wants to take this one. We didn't do the deploy, so that's we don't have to worry about anything happening during reentry. When are we looking for that in-flight, on-orbit, or in-space relight? What was the timeline for that? Do you
So
remember?
the current plan for the in-flight space relight demo would be at 37 minutes and 49 seconds.
So about 14 minutes from now. Woo!
Hey, there's the top of the Margaritaville.
Hello.
We've got
Hi,
Ross,
all.
Gage, and D. Hey, guys. You look fantastic. Great tracking. That was great.
They look all very like they are just roasted by the sun.
Getting plenty of sunshine. They're talking amongst themselves.
I think they think we can hear them, but we can't.
No.
Can
Go
chat
do
hear
more
them?
work.
We love you. Thank you for all the hard work.
You guys are awesome. You guys
we
are
can't
awesome.
hear you. Hopefully, chat can hear you. D is going to show the rack now. And all of the equipment that they have to haul up to the roof.
Which is actually quite hard to do.
It is.
I've done it many times.
It's
sucks.
now we're getting into the summertime, which really, like, if you've ever been on the roof of anything in the summer, let alone a hotel on the beach, then being on the roof is no joke. Oh, we got a thumbs up at the end too.
Awesome. Ship 35 in its coast phase. We're waiting on an official report of what happened to Booster 14-2. I saw a relight, but
Look like it blew up when it relayed.
Yeah, I think it had too much. Again, it was an experiment, and we are all like, nobody here I think is bummed right now, right? Like this.
No.
Yeah.
This was potentially going to happen. This is what they wanted to test. They wanted to test the limit, and spoiler, they found one. Yeah.
Beach people.
They're okay. Yeah, and they saw it. Apparently, the shot of South Padre Island there, that's what the beach looks like. And yeah, those people went to see a launch. They saw a launch. They saw a successful stage separation, and they saw the booster return to a point. And
It seems to me that the booster, what happened is that when it said relight, it said, okay, I'll light myself up.
it lit more than the 13 engines. Let's as the ship is coasting, right? It's in its coast phase. Let's go to Ryan Caton for a trajectory update. Ryan?
Well, here we go. Not exactly the trajectory, but we do have the timeline. Of course, here, 8 minutes, 56 seconds. That is when second engine cutoff took place. That was a very nice thing to see. But let's move the timeline forwards, and let's move towards... Whoa, nearly falling over here. Let's move towards something that isn't happening, the Starlink demo deployment. I'm going to move that camera out of the way for the next flight. You can be rest assured of that. But something we do have coming up is the Raptor in-space relight demo. That's coming up at approximately 40 minutes into flight here. That's actually scheduled for 21 seconds later than it was for the last flight. Of course, the last flight didn't actually get to that point, but an interesting note with the timeline. So that's coming up at 40 minutes into flight approximately. And then as we move onwards, we are of course going to get to the re-entry of the Starship. Entry interface should be occurring approximately 30 seconds later than they thought it would be doing on the previous flight. However, this is where things start to get interesting, because the next event, that's when Starship is transonic. That's only 6 seconds later. So this timeline is actually a little bit more spicy on the ship side of things. That's just passing over an hour and 3 minutes there into flight. We're then going to go through the supersonic regime. Transonic will then be subsonic again 6 minutes later than the previous flight. And if I pause it here again, only 5 seconds later for the landing flip. This is 1 hour, 6 minutes and 11 seconds into flight here for the ship. And then, of course, we will get, fingers crossed, if we make it through re-entry, a exciting landing. That burn starting 10 seconds earlier than was planned on the previous flight, and then splashdown occurring 12 seconds later than was planned on the previous flight. 1 hour, 6 minutes and 38 seconds after leaving Starbase. Fingers crossed the ship should make it to the Indian Ocean. And one more thing just to check out very quickly, where actually will the ship be landing? Let's take a look at the re-entry zone here. Leaving Australia, this is the Indian Ocean. We of course have our airspace closures for Madagascar, Mauritius and Australian airspace. The ship will be coming from Africa over, clipping the south of Madagascar and then slowly coasting. We'll start re-entry around this area here. This is where we'll start to see plasma generating on the belly of Starship. It will then re-enter the atmosphere, and hopefully, if it's in the same location as the previous flights, we will see a soft splashdown, or at least a splashdown, around this area here in Australian airspace.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Ryan, for that. We have a breaking news update.
Yeah, so it's not. I'm not sounding the big alarm yet. I've like multiple alarms. I'm pushing the medium size alarm. The ship is definitely giving me a bit of like 28 vibes. It's quite spinny on overall, and that's not what I like to super see.
Look at the bottom right. We're
indicator.
talking about the attitude indicator there. There you go. Thank you, Kevin. That attitude indicator. I mean, maybe it's just doing a barbecue roll. It's just doing like a thermal management.
Oh, can we go full screen? There we go. Yeah, that's
or maybe
Ship
it's
28
tumbling out
vibes.
of control.
It's sort of actually more like Ship 34, but without the engines.
It's interesting
it's gonna be an interesting re-entry.
They're not.
Let's say that.
It doesn't look like they're able to get stable video off of it, perhaps because of attitude control issues. Clearly speculating here. I'm speculating just based on a graphic, but you see how it's intermittent like that, and then the ship will roll to a point where the dish can no longer have a connection, and then they lose it again. That's what it seems like, anyways.
Who would have thought that Block 2 will repeat the same 3 first flights of Block 1?
So I have a question. We saw a clean engine shutdown sequence. At least it looked like that from the telemetry we were getting. What would the venting have caused this? I'm trying to figure out what forces on this vehicle would have caused it to do this.
A vent could have frozen and stuck open.
Yeah,
that's possible. Has that happened on a previous flight? That sounds vaguely familiar to me. It could be something completely different.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's also like I'm playing the optimist here. Like there's also
a
potential.
little bit of a spin. We did spring a leak in some of the fuel tank systems inside of Starship, which a lot of those are used for your attitude control. And so at this point, we've essentially lost our attitude control with Starship. We are still on a path toward re-entry. We are suborbital, so no matter what, we are going to enter. However, this lowers the chances for it to be a controlled re-entry. So if you think back to Flight 3, when we had something similar happen, just the end symptom of a loss of attitude control, we were in a roll by the time we hit re-entry. So we are going to re-enter. We should hopefully still have views. The Starlink satellites are pretty robust to still maintaining contact. We've got 4 of those terminals on the vehicle, and they're pretty robust to maintaining contact, even when we are
in a spin, essentially. So we should hopefully continue to keep live views. It's going to still be dark until we get a little bit closer to entry, as we are a little bit, we're coming up on Africa. I believe we do swing just to the south of that continent. And by the time we start heading out over the Indian Ocean, we'll start heading into a sunrise. So not looking great with a lot of our on-orbit objectives for today, where we were hoping to do the PEZ deploy and relight an engine, and then really importantly get into that controlled entry to really put the heat shield through the ringer. Nonetheless, Starship marching forward towards that re-entry over the Indian Ocean, so we'll continue to hang with it and give you any updates as things continue to change.
So we got through SECO. I'm trying to be really positive here. They are getting data. We made it through second engine cutoff. And, you know, like Jack said earlier, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Oh God, the patch release jinxed it.
So there's a patch.
No, it didn't. Yeah. It didn't. It didn't. Don't say that.
No, to your point, Gene. We all, I think, if you go back and watch the coverage from today and in the lead up to this mission, I think we've hammered home over and over again that the main goal is getting through SECO. The most important data is getting through SECO. Second most, I think, arguably, is the reentry data, which they're not going to get, which is not great, to be sure.
They're going to get some.
But it's what did we say on this very stream right when we got to SECO? We said,
Yay.
you know, they did it. Yay, they got it.
Yeah.
Progress is, I believe, the exact word that Alex used. Progress has been made. We can be plenty forgiving of progress that's made that's not as much as fast as we want. And we can be plenty grumpy when no progress is made or when seemingly a regression has happened. But today, progress has been made. Granted, it seems like this is Flight 3, number 2, Electric Boogaloo. But
yeah,
fact of the matter is, they got through SECO. Hopefully they can do it again on Flight 10 and prove that it wasn't a fluke. And furthermore, get that precious reentry data. Also, we're working on replays.
I know.
We are working on replays of launch, so if you want more launch footage in your eyeballs, stay tuned. Plus, also, hopefully we get some plasma on the ship.
There must be at least 2 teams right now at SpaceX that must be a little bit upset about this flight, namely the heat shield teams and also the I guess
Starlink.
it would be the build. Well, the Starlink teams as well.
So 3 teams.
I was thinking, I was thinking, you know, because of the leak in the fuel system and whatever that they have just mentioned, I will have to carefully look back at, you know, what exactly they mentioned. But it sounded like, you know, they had some issues with the attitude control, with the fuel system and everything. And so they are, you know.
We have a question from Eric in our back channel that I'm just going to say out loud. Why does it seem like it's going through clouds at 156 kilometers of altitude? What are we looking at? Like, what is going on?
I'm going to guess venting from that leak.
It all should be moving the same,
But wait, so where's this camera? This camera's on near the tip of the nose cone, right? Okay, it's on the flap. Yeah, okay, so it's on the flap.
Down.
Where would that venting be from? The header?
No idea.
Like, we're looking down at the rest of the ship functionally. So if that cloud material that we're seeing is coming from the vehicle itself, where?
The other side of the ship that we can't see.
Is it just
remember the tanks are huge, so they have a lot to vent if they wanted to.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I wonder if that's we're too early for plasma, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you go low enough, you might have some plasma interaction still. Crispy will probably be yelling already at me, shuttle, because it's true that on some missions they did some testing at low altitudes. There we go.
It looks like
those flaps moving for entry.
Yeah.
Seconds into
question is
today's
just
flight
basically-
tests, you're seeing some flap movement here on the ship. If you've been following along, we actually lost attitude